morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Napoleon Total back again with some Shogun 2 FOTS Samurai Scramble for the Far East mod, and we're back with the Qing. In the last episode, we captured and took Kaga. Now we're just gonna be praying for the best. Now we gonna push on. Our armies all across the board are slightly destroyed. No army in the field is fresh, which is a bad sight. But however, historically, no army ever in the field is fresh. The Wakiyama are gonna attack us on the battlefield, and that is gonna lead to the Battle of Yamato field. And once again, I'm just gonna quick save because 1, I also need to save the game, and 2, yes, stuff. For those that are wondering, Beta 12, which is gonna be coming out, which I have been told are gonna be coming out, it's gonna be interesting. But what's more interesting are these Mongol Lancers right here, Mongol Archers right here. Those guys look pretty unique. Most of my entire army is going to be made up of swordsmen in the front lines. Most of them are depleted, which is a sad sight. But behind them, all across this board, we have a lot of these swordsmen. And behind them, we have this massive artillery battery of literally guns and rockets. I also deployed my Qing spearmen, the red banner Qing spearmen, right here. And it's just an interesting formation. For those that are wondering, how the heck do I know it's red border spearmen and not red border banner spearmen? Is because their entire uniform is red. What was I saying about the beta? Oh yes. So for beta 12, it is not save compatible. That means if I were to save the Qing, and then all of a sudden I was gonna go to beta 12, that doesn't mean that I have to, that's not possible. Not to be confused with quick save, which I literally fought. You can quick save or save the game, you just can't do it past corresponding betas. For example, if you quick save the game in beta 11, which is this beta, and then you went to beta 12, which is going to be coming out in November the 21st, it's not gonna work. So yeah, just keep out for that. The enemy army is mostly made of swordsmen. They have katana samurai. Most of them are depleted because my artillery is just pounding them. You can see the rows of dead. They do have some gun units with this Dutch Doctrine Lightning, but they're getting destroyed as we speak. The whole entire volley of them dead. And most of them, the enemy army is mostly made of some bowmen, 1 or 2 gun units, and the rest are swords, which is actually not a bad composition. To be honest, if the enemy deployed a few more cavalry units, they could have won against me, because most of my army, once again, is mostly made up of artillery pieces, and I only have 3 units of cavalry, which is not a lot, and all they have to do is take out the artillery, and I'll be certainly doomed. And also take out my cavalry. But then, yes, that's that. The enemy is going to get some shots off with arrows and guns off of me. I'm just going to be sitting here because I am more than confident my artillery pieces will be destroying those infantry. As you can see, the second I say that, the entire enemy infantry line just gets evaporated. We've destroyed literally 1 unit of Dutch Doctrine Line infantry in that 1 volley. And now we're just going to charge in. And because the enemy are so tired, we're just gonna straight outright charge in. And we're gonna pray for the best. Our guys are starting to thin out, which is a dangerous sight, because after this line, we only have artillery and some spearmen, but after that there's literally nothing else. So I am desperately trying to have my guys literally go around and literally flank, which is what you see in a few seconds. But our guys are doing actually kind of well against this katana samurai. Like I said in the last episode, these white banner border units are not the best. However, the Katana Samurai are the best, so that translates to Katana Samurai are Katana Samurai have +1 morale, almost everything across the board against these White Banner border units, which in practicality isn't that much. That is obviously unless you're fighting in multiplayer battle, which is obviously not the case. But we're just gonna be surrounding the enemy, and because the enemy is pretty much surrounded, we're gonna evaporate them. And the second their entire army is collapsing, we're just gonna kill the rest of them.
Victory is assured, sir.
As you can see, as of right now, the entire enemy army is pretty much routed. So I'm just gonna send in my Mongol cavalry to finish them off. And yes, these are Mongol cavalry, so I don't know how well they perform, but they do pretty well. You can just see the amount of dead on this battlefield. But that said, we have taken the field, and now we're just going to be continuing on to the end screen. During the entire battle, we've lost 708, which is actually a lot. We've also even lost 1 unit of White Banner border units. And the rebels are just going to be coming out again to assault this place, Setsu, and we're just going to auto-resolve. Obviously we win that, and then we're just gonna do our best. We have almost everyone is unhappy with us, especially in Korea. Now after the last episode in which I just cut their, have them pay their taxes, and I remove all armies from Korea. I'm gonna have this army supervise recruitment Kaga. Technically I can chase the enemy army, but I am in my army's in no shape. And yeah, that is a sad part. I'm gonna send my fleet into to scout out. I do need 1 ship to bring this army, which is actually a lot of troops, to 5 units to Kaga. This army can actually attack. This army is also pretty much banged up, and the only good thing that I see from this is that the British are supporting us, but we're gonna attack, but just not right now. Right now we're just gonna see what the heck is going on. I do need to repair a lot of stuff, and once again, the rebels are pretty annoying. I'm just gonna exempt this province only from taxes, but I don't know if this is enough. And every time, for those that are wondering, every time the rebels damage a building, I have to repair it. And most importantly for me, it's not the repairing of buildings. It's more along the lines of 1 turn is taken away to just repair the buildings. Vong has upgraded, so I'm just going to give him +1 morale. And Night Fighter, which means this guy can actually fight in night battles. This guy, I'm going to have him put him out. I'm going to send him on the ship. And he's going to be admiral of this fleet, which is actually a pretty safe job, unless you're fighting literally everyone else. This army is pretty much banged up, and it only has 700 left. So I'm not going to risk this battle in any major engagement, not until reinforcements arrive. This army is just going to be moving on to Ego, and we're going to siege it, and we're going to continue the siege. And we're gonna send the other army after it, so yes, that's that. But yes, I'm gonna even be moving a lot of troops to the enemy. My agent can technically move to this army to supervise recruitment after we've taken the settlement, but yes. But we're gonna fight this battle right now. I am not gonna do a night battle because I want the British to support me. And once again, almost with every battle that you're going to see for the rest of the campaign, we're going to start off with a barrage of artillery. In this battle, we actually do have a lot of troops, but most of them are depleted. However, I'm not going to be doing the most of the fight. The British are, and so that's very good for them. It does also mean that my mortars will be doing most of the job, killing a lot of people. My mortars artillery will be doing most of the job destroying the enemy, while the British do most of the land fighting. As you can see, there is a little bit of lag, and you will be seeing a lot of lag throughout the rest of this battle. And the reason is simple, because the British brought a large army. And for sieges, for some reason, sieges give a lot of lag, so that's sad. But yes, entire volley of artillery just went off, and yes. What I'm trying to do is soften up the enemy defenses before the British arrive, which is great. Yes. What we are doing is literally, once again, pounding the enemy to submission. Once again, rockets are setting fire to the walls, and then the walls are going to explode and just going to kill an entire unit. That was actually 2 units destroyed. Right now, we're just even going to be burning more stuff. And once again, this is one of the reasons why you must bring rockets. If you have the ability to recruit rockets, please bring rockets to literally a battlefield, a siege battle to be exact. It will make siege battles so much faster. The only downside about rockets is that they have their ammunition is the rate in which they fire their ammunition is way too fast, which is a good and bad thing. The bad thing is that you use up your ammunition very quickly. They are sometimes further controlled, but I'm gonna talk about that later. Actually, the reason why they are hard to control is because they tend to fire twice, and when they do fire, it's almost unstoppable. But yes, that's that. As you can see, a lot of dead already, mostly from exploding walls. But yes, that's that. Yes. Eventually, this unit is also going to get wiped out, but it's going to be dealt by the British. And speaking of the British, we have the British. The British are actually fielding a lot of good troops. The unit that just walked past is Sutherland Foot Highlander. They have some Gurkhas. They have some more Colonial Sutherland Foot Highlanders, which are pretty elite. They have some regular Sutherland Foot Highlanders with some Colonial Light Infantry and some Sepoys, which are Indian troops. To their right, we have even more conscripts with some actual Black Watch, so that's pretty interesting. Some Colonial Infantry, a Coldstream Guard, which are the most elite unit that the British can bring. The Coldstream Guard, the Grenadier Guards, and the Black Watch are the 3 most elite unit that can bring. And yes, that's that. With their massive bearskin caps. It is a saying that the British bearskin caps were captured from the French Grenadier, the French Imperial Guard at the Battle of Waterloo. And for those who are wondering, the French Imperial Guard, the bearskin caps, which is this like massive hat, were made out of Canadian fur, Canadian bear fur. So yeah, that's why they're called bearskin caps. But anyway, back to the battlefield. The British just decided to literally charge in their colonial cavalry straight into the enemy's spears. And as you can see, the spearmen are obviously winning, even if they are a light unit. And this is why, once again, you don't charge cavalry straight into a spear unit. They're going to have the hardest times. But the British decide to charge their other unit onto the flank, and they too don't do so well. One unit automatically just routs, the other unit is going to retreat. That's going to prompt this unit to chase after them. And the British are just going to turn around and charge once again. And yeah, they do absolutely very well. Most of their unit is scared away by... Most of their horses are scared away by the massive spears pointing at them. So yes, that's not a good sight. And the British are just going to retreat once again, losing a couple of men in the process. And yeah, once again, don't charge spears into forces. As you can see, you could have heard, the British are opening fire with their light infantry against the spear unit, and finally the cavalry is going to come one last time, and they're going to start chopping into this spear levy. With the pressure of the guns and the cavalry, this unit is going to start to waver, and the second it starts to waver, it routs, and when it routs, this British cavalry is going to finish the job by literally cutting all of them down for revenge. Literally destroying this spear levy destroyed almost 2 units of cavalry. But yes, the British are going to chase the heck out of this unit. The British are just gonna rush this castle. My men are actually opening fire our artillery pieces, but the British have already deployed some sepoys into this place. I didn't realize you could actually walk through here, but hey, that's interesting. Their sepoy infantry is gonna be fighting against some militia and some levies, and they're actually gonna do pretty well. And yes, it's been speculation that the sepoys are actually better than the British regulars, and the reason is because that the sepoys actually have seen combat, while British regulars are mostly, unless you're in the Crimean War, of course, actually have not seen that much action. But that said, colonial infantry is going to be coming in with some colonial Sutherland Highlanders with some Gurkha riflemen. So literally, this battle is going to be massive. What's going to make the situation worse is that they're just going to be pulling out a lot more troops. But anyway, the rest of the battle is self-explanatory, so I won't be talking much about it. And I'll be seeing you at the end screen. Back on the campaign map, we have taken only 176 casualties, but that's mostly because of the British, and for some reason the British and my losses are counted together, which is interesting. The British only lost 176, which is pretty amazing in the sense that they took most of the damage. But yes. Our guys are just gonna take Yamato. We haven't taken a single casualty. The British have taken a lot, which is a bad sign because I'm also treating the British like actual allies, except for the fact that I won't allow them to take any land. We're gonna also be fighting the battle Uneyo, and this is literally the battle against a settlement, literally. Once again, this battle we're just gonna be firing a lot of rockets. So yes, that's that. At this point, it's starting to be a little confusing on which battle is for what province and which battle is for what. But, yes. But anyway, once again, we're just opening fire with our rockets. And at this point, I've decided to cut out most of the battle because most of the battle is pretty self-explanatory. I will be talking, but this is the real last battle now I'll be covering in big detail. After that, most of the other battles will just be like, okay, this happened, that happened, that's it. But yes, that's that. Yes. Nothing I can do at this point. Once again, our artillery is just going to be bombarding the enemy. And we're going to be taking out the enemy mortars. And to my surprise, well, I've known this a long time ago once I was testing rockets. But for those who don't know, rockets do a lot of damage to artillery pieces. Like one volley of rockets is pretty devastating against artillery any other artillery piece. Obviously, I haven't tested rockets against rockets, but yeah. But yes. And for those who haven't realized yet, the Battle of Uneyo is basically, Uneo Castle is basically the battle that we are two armies that are literally smack in the middle of Japan. They're gonna be destroying the enemy provinces left, right, and center, and their main goal is to stop the British expansion, which is kind of funny because I just told you guys that I was treating the British as allies, but what we're trying to do is stop the British from expanding while we're maximizing our expansion. The only downside that I see is that most of our units are spread extremely thin. This army is actually the only full army that I actually have. The two of them. But one of them is somewhat damaged, the other one is completely fresh. My other two armies, one in the north, one in the south, are pretty much banged up. Like, one is banged up so much that I cannot move. The other army, which is the southern army, is literally so banged up that I literally have to send in more. I have to rely on the British, which is pretty nice of me. It's also kind of funny when you realize that in history, the Qing and the British were literally enemies. Don't get this wrong in the sense that the Qing did have to rely on British support, especially during the Taiping Rebellion. And yeah. But continuing on, our guys are going to be scaling the walls, and we're just going to be doing literally damage against these guys. You can see my guys are just burning the gate. And the second this gate burns, we're going to be killing a lot of guys. The enemy's not going to move back, which is pretty good because that means that they're going to be cut by my guys in the front, and they're going to be literally exploding a few seconds later when the gate burns. The only downside to that is that they are buying my guys some time, and literally when they buy time, they're going to have the arrow towers do a lot of work. The arrow towers, as of this point, for every 3 shots that the arrow tower fires, 2 of them are going to hit, and 2 of them are going to cause death. So that's going to be a problem. The gate just burnt down, and then almost everyone, the rest of that unit dies, and now we're going to charge into some Spear Levy, and obviously against Spear Levy, we're going to do a very good job. To be exact, this unit is called Citizen Levy, Citizen Spearman, or something like that, it's literally the version of Yari Ashigaru, except for the fact that these guys cannot form Yari Wall, which is great. Because Yari Wall is overpowered. And that is probably the reason why Yari Ashigaru is so good. Obviously, for those who don't know, I don't have regular Shogun 2. That means I only have Follow the Samurai. It was my bad in the sense that I was so dumb not to realize. Okay. The reason why I didn't get. Okay. So for those who don't know, when Shogun 2 was made, Shogun 2 Follow the Samurai was made an official game. They literally had regular Shogun 2 come 100% free, and I didn't buy it, which is the most dumbest thing after I'm reflecting on it, because during that time I was doing some other stuff, and I didn't really want Shogun 2. But now, looking back on it, I really regret that decision. Not that I can change it or anything, but yes, that's that. The enemy are going to send down more troops to protect their first tier, which is a good decision on their part, but also a terrible decision, because they're going to go through this gate, and I'm going to blow this gate up by firing rockets at it. And after taking a few casualties, the gate is going to burn, but to my surprise, not a lot of guys died. So yes, mostly because most of the enemies were already outside of this gate, so when it did explode, it didn't kill a lot of guys. But yes. But to make the situation worse for the enemy, those units that they sent out, they just sent them straight into melee, which is a dumb decision in the sense that my guys are better in melee than even volunteer and levy infantry, so we're just gonna come on the upper hand. So yes, that's that. As you can see, this volunteer infantry is just getting wrecked. Eventually, our guys are just gonna push through this gate, and this is the final last stand of the enemy. Basically, what happens is that the enemy decides to they send out most of their units, and I basically just chop them up. That's gonna leave them extremely vulnerable at the end, which is happening right now. Our guys are gonna scale the walls. My main army is holding them at that gate, which is still burning. And what we're going to do is we're going to have, the enemy is going to be sending out every last one of their men to be holding that said gate, except for that one unit that you see just moving out. That is their very last unit. And we're just going to flank, and because the enemy are not in their keep, they're just going to get destroyed. And they will rout, and after they rout, we're going to take the battle. And after that, we are going to win the battle, and that's it. That's it for this battle. We didn't take too many casualties. However, this army is now just kind of banged up. Yes. I cannot move to Issel, the province right there, which does mean that I have to start going around the entire place. I have to march back to Mino and then stuff. But once again, a lot of province management and army movement. So can't really say anything. I'm actually gonna move my fleet into this peninsula. With my general on it, of course. But this army is gonna stay put once again because it is too destroyed to do anything at this moment. So yes, that's that. The British are just gonna move on like a boss, like they didn't take any massive casualties. That does mean that my army is gonna be marching once again. The Americans are amassing a lot of ships in the one area, which is the south of Japan. And the French are gonna be sending in some help, but it's not gonna be enough. Most of the fleet action is gonna be done by my navy. But yes, the enemy is going to enchant one more of my agents, and unfortunately my agent is going to defect. And so that means I have one less agent to work with, and that agent was literally supposed to be reinforced, like replenishing my army. So my army is now really low on replenishment. Now the situation is somewhat better, in the sense that I have been gaining land, but now it does mean that all across the board, my lines of supplies are stretched to the extreme limit, and now we are getting somewhat flanked by the enemy navy. At this point, you can see me just piling up my ships against the enemy navy. Whatever it attacks, if it does attack, it's gonna get destroyed by any one of my ships. So yes, that's that. I should have attacked, but I decided to wait and see what's going to happen. We can actually get ironclads, which is what I'm researching, so that's good for me. The British are somewhat boxed in by my armies. This unit can actually move and we're gonna actually reinforce this army at Kaga, so now we can actually start moving again. I'm gonna have my geisha scout, and I'm gonna have also my fleet scout. And in the south, I'm gonna keep moving these two armies to Mino, and after Mino, I'll split one army to take Isil, and the other army to take whatever province that the Americans have. As of right now, the Americans, from what I know, the only big problem that I see is Prussia. And the Americans are allied to Prussia, but I haven't seen a Prussian army since, so that is a little bit scary. But, yes, that's that. Anyway, I'm just gonna continue the recruitment. But that said, this episode is coming to a close, so, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Now, before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I will be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.